How's everyone doing today? I'm doing Certified Menace on Luxie. Basically, it's a short horror film series on YouTube. So pretty much, I'm gonna be doing season 1 and season 2 because in total they'd be like 40 minutes long of the supercuts. So yeah, we start off with some kid that gets poisoned. He just collapses on the ground after having too much brewskis to drink. So then he gets covered up, and apparently 13 kids got poisoned because the school cafeteria food tastes like shit. I don't know what the fuck they're putting in them. They're just like they're giving them raw burgers or some shit because 13 kids are dead because of poisoning. I already said that. And then we cut to some cop who's going around placing, basically picking up numbers. You like number dead bodies. She picks up a number and then she hears a noise. Then some guy in a sheet walks by and she like turns around and she's pointing towards the stage in the auditorium. So she goes behind the car and she hears another noise which brings her down a hallway. She opens the door and she finds a room with a staircase leading up. So then in her peripheral vision, she could see some guy just like walking by like he's not even human. Like he's the way like the people walk in this show, they walk like they're aliens or some shit. I don't know. That guy walked by like he had a stick up his ass. So then she sees him. Her first instinct, which is pretty smart but kind of questionable, she goes in to hide. I feel like as a cop, I feel like she would have been like, hey, what are you doing here? This is our premises. This is like police work. You get the fuck out, go home. Like, But she hid, which I guess is pretty smart. So then she goes up the stairs. She finds a mitten, a glove, and a candle. And I think I was watching Foundflix or some other YouTuber ages ago. They said that could have been like the ritual to like, summon Luxie. So then she basically just caressing the mitten glove. She tries to blow out this candle, but this candle has like, I don't know, this candle is blowout proof. It stays lit like Travis Scott. And then the glove turns into Luxie's hand. So then Luxie, just like this, trying to like go lean over to her, trying to like give her a kiss on the forehead or some shit. So then the guy from before that was walking, like he shot himself. He comes back, grabs the cop, brings her out the room. He brings her out the car, and just before he could go out, Luxie pulls him back in, and then he starts laughing crazily. I don't know. Luxie just whipped out his phone, just showed him like this funny ass reel. So then the guy pops back out with the car, and he has claw marks on his face. Like Luxie just like took a knife to his face and started like carving him up. So then the guy gets raised up like really high. He gets raised up as high as like the stages, as high the curtains are. I'm just thinking, when the fuck did Luxie turn into Stretch Armstrong? When did Luxie inject himself with the leader of the Fantastic Four DNA? Like, how was bro able to raise him so high? But I'm very sure he has telekinesis, so he can raise people like that as well. So then he drops the man, slams him onto the ground, and pulls him back in. So we cut to episode 2, season 2, which starts off with the same guy from before. He's writing some graffiti down on the bathroom stall saying, if you shit, you're gay. You have to shit yourself if you like women. So then he walks out, and then another woman walks in as if she's been like running away from her abusive husband or some shit. Because she runs straight into the bathroom stall, locks herself in the stall, and she reads the note on the door which says, if you yourself cannot release, it will come take a piece, which basically means if you can't let go of something sad that happened to you, Luxie's gonna come and like rip your dick off or some shit. So then she looks to the left of her stall. There's feet over there. She checks over. Nothing's there. She's hallucinating shoes. She has a phobia of fresh, polished black shoes. So then she looks in the front of her stall, and then when she does look over, Luxie's just there like, peering over with his long ass spindly fingers. He's like, yeah, I see you shitting. I know when you're going to be doing your poopies. So then he grabs her legs and basically tries to pull her out from under the stall. But she has like this wedding ring. She has like this wedding ring that she got. She was supposed to get married, but I'm fairly sure she rejected or someone else rejected. Something to do like her husband dying, something like that. So then she drops the ring into the toilet, and nothing, everything's gone. Everything seems to be chill. Luxie's gone. She's the only person in the bathroom stall. But then she checks up and looks that Luxie is standing on the toilet. He's wanting to take a piss in a new and inventive way. So then we cut away as you hear her screaming shit, and then you cut back, and he took her hand off and like fucking spread her gooch more than she could spread it, like he's trying to deliver a baby or some shit. Because her leg, the body, or the way her body was, is like her leg was like spread so far apart, like it was like a fucking obtuse angle or some shit. So we cut to this other woman who's basically jealous of the woman that got spread apart in the bathroom because she gets to fuck this guy named Daniel, and this woman right now wants to fuck the guy named Daniel. So she has a picture of Daniel and his wife, and she rips the part of his wife off, and she basically just wants to be with Daniel. And then she hears a noise. She goes outside to check, thinking it's Daniel. Why did they what? And then she hears a noise inside of her house. So she's still walking around thinking it's Daniel inside of her house, and thinking, why would Daniel just go into your house, just break in, just to surprise you? Like, oh, surprise! I just broke in to rob your shit. Here, rob your heart as well. I just thought I'd surprise you by just, throwing a brick through a window, just like going into your house. Hope you don't mind. It's a bit retarded. So then she's walking by. She hears a door creaking in the hallway. She looks around. She sees Luxie. He's behind on the edge, like making sure the coast is clear so he can have a wank in his room. But then she's there, so he has to he has to scare the shit over her. So then when she turns around back in the hallway, she sees Luxie just like posted up above, like in the hallway, like he's trying to rid her of. He's like, hey, how's it going? Just like, all the arms spread apart, just like salivating as well, looking at her like he's really hungry. So then she runs and hides in the bathroom, and he's trying to open the door. So then with no other choice, she couldn't open the window for some reason. I'm not even sure if her fat ass would be able to fit through. So then she hides behind the shower curtain. The door opens. No one seems to be there. And then after like a couple of minutes of just like standing there breathing, letting people know, yeah, I'm here by the way, she opens the curtains, checks, no one is there, but then the curtain closes again, and then you could just hear her screaming and the sounds of like flesh ripping apart and all. And then we check back, her head is gone. Looks, he chomped her head off like a meatball. So then we cut to the woman who died in the bathroom before. She wakes up in this hospital bed, and then she sees Daniel just standing in the darkness. I'm fairly sure it's the guy that she was supposed to marry, but she didn't want to marry him, or he died. I'm not really sure too much about the story. It's kind of obscure and looksy. The stories. It's kind of like you're getting like pieces. You're getting like breadcrumbs, and you're supposed to kind of like piece the story yourself. So I'm not sure if the guy. I'm fairly sure the guy died. Because why else would he be hallucinating? Because this guy she sees Daniel in the darkness, just standing there, just looking at her, be like, yeah, I'm just chilling in the darkness. Pretty weird way to visit your grandma's. Like, oh, hey, grandma, I'm just going to stand in the darkness like I'm possessed or something. So then Daniel walks in, sits beside her. He puts his hand on her knee. It's Luxie's hand. And then she looks up and sees that Daniel has no more fucking eyes. There's like holes where his eyes should be on through the back of his skull. So then he squeezes her kneecap, which hurts her. So then she goes to the other side of the bed. Looks again, sees Luxie just sitting there beside the bed. He's like thinking, I decided to, pay you a visit after our last encounter. Yeah, do you remember when I like fucking killed you? Yeah, I'm here to finish the job. But he's there to make a Apple business deal with her, because his mouth opens up and another arm comes out of his mouth and drops a pocket watch in front of her, basically signaling that, like, work for me or I'm gonna put you in the bin. So then she looks at the watch, like looking all surprised and all devastated, like, what is this, a pocket watch? I haven't seen this since my mother was alive. So then she's like, no, I refuse. So then she grabs a fork, stabs Luxie in the jaw, and that actually managed to hurt him enough for him to collapse down onto the ground. And it gave her enough time to crawl over to him and to stab him in the head with a butter knife. But just before she could, like, turn him into a sandwich, he just slips out the door, like he just got pulled away by his dad or some shit. It's like time to go to bed. So then the door closes. She crawls back onto his bed. And that's how that part of the show ends. Or that episode ends. So we cut to another guy who's basically, the story with this guy is that his daughter drowned, and he's looking at pictures of him and herself, and he's eating he made a whole birthday cake for himself, the fat ass, so he can, like, eat birthday cake while, looking at pictures, to just, like, relive the memories, be like, oh yes, that was my daughter, I hated her a lot, that's why I let her drown, I actually don't care about her. So then he drops a piece on the ground, and then she looks up, he sees his daughter just standing there in the middle of the hallway. Door closes quickly before he could even react. So then he opens back the door, she's gone. He's walking down the hallway, sees that she closes a door, but when he goes to go check that door, he just said, I just got you new tie from Penny's, like, here you go, just a present from me to you. Dad is like, yeah, here's a tie. So then another door opens behind them. He checks that door. Nothing's in there. It's just like, a closet shit. One of the jackets came to life and, just pushed the door open. So then he closes that door and closes the other door. But then that door that he just closed, this door has a mind of its own or some shit. This door is open again. So then he closes that shit again. Luxie appears in the hallway just staring at him, smiling. Luxie really likes to just, like, look at them and have a staring contest, giving them time to run away. So then this guy shits himself, runs into the kitchen, and he hides underneath the table. And then he sees Luxie walking by, like he's doing a reverse moonwalk or some shit. He's like, walking by. can I do a dance on the table? Because then he hops up on the dinner table and starts doing Gangnam Style or some shit. I don't know. He's just on top of the table having a wank or whatever. So then he's just there chilling underneath the table, and a tie, that same tie that he found, appears underneath where he's hiding, and he just looks at it. He starts crying, starts pissing himself. He has a phobia of ties or whatever this shit. I don't know. Maybe I say he choked himself one time when he's putting a tie around his neck. So then he starts crying, and he's not like getting rid of the tie or anything. So then the curtain starts to open up. You can see the light on his face. So then Luxie just appears and he's like, "Hey, how's it going? You want to get the fuck out of there?" So then we cut away. We hear noise and screaming. We hear flesh ripping off. That's gonna be like the thing with Luxie, by the way. The second he finds his victim, it cuts off, and you can just hear like the sound of them dying, and then it cuts back to show you how they die. So then the way this guy died is his head got twisted a whole fucking 360, a whole 180 facing the wall, and his hands got like chopped off because you're just on the desk, just like holding the tie that Luxie nicked. I was about to say knocked. What is that word, bro? So then we're starting off with season 2, and in season 2, this takes place in the 1930s, and basically what's been happening is two twins have opened up a bank, and now everything's gone to shit. I think it's something to do with the depression or whatever. But anyways, this movie basically starts off with a bunch of people banging at the bank, being like, "Where's my money, bruh? I've been robbed. Like, what's this? Chocolate coins, like, instead of actual coins in their vault." So the family's upstairs, and one guy's absolutely battered his wife, just hit him across the forehead with a metal rod, and she's falling to the ground, and with no other choice, he just takes out a knife, slits his throat. So then we come back to the main family who are walking away from the city. They're walking, towards a remote cabin to live in the middle of nowhere. And the youngest daughter of them sees Luxie, just like sees a hand behind the tree. So then she just continues walking along with the family. And when the family are in the cabin, they're eating their like little peasant food. They're eating bread, and the dad hears a noise. So then he goes outside to check. And one thing, can I just like say something? One thing I kind of find weird, which isn't really that big of a deal, is just a bit of a nitpick, I guess. None of the characters talk in any of these like episodes or anything. It's just like pure silence. They just say, right, act as if no one wants to talk to you anymore. Act as if you're alone. Just don't speak. I think it's kind of cool, but a bit weird. But yeah, I just wanted to say that. Anyways, the guy is outside. He hears the barn door close, and he goes to check it, and there's a foreclosure notice on the door. So he takes that shit off. He's thinking, right, the taxman can go like fuck himself. If he comes around here, I'm gonna be boxing the head off him. Like, you were fighting for the property. So then he looks back up again. There's 3 more foreclosure notices there. This guy's getting haunted by paying tax. So then he opens the door. He goes inside. The door closes behind him, and he sees more foreclosure notices everywhere. Man, this guy must be having nightmares about the taxman going into his dreams and asking to pay up rent that's due or whatever, because he just can't escape his tax demons. So then he notices a pocket watch. He nicks that shit. He also notices that there's $1, and then when he checks the dollar, on the back it says, "Luxie's a message. If you yourself cannot release, it will come take a piece." Pretty much. I forgot to mention the other victims that I covered. You're one that ripped the paper in half, and then you're one. Yeah, the one that ripped the paper in half, she also saw that note, and the cop at the start. Each victim, when they come across this notice, is basically sealing their fate, because then that means Luxie's coming after him. So after he sees this notice, Luxie's hand appeared behind his head, like he wants to, massage his head or some shit. Like, his hands look like 2 spiders or some shit. So I keep saying or some shit every time. So and the guy looks around, looks behind him, and or looks behind, then looks behind him again, and his hand gets grabbed by Luxie. The guy falls onto the ground, and Luxie just like starts getting on top of him, starts crawling towards him like he's gonna seduce him and, I don't know, try to fuck him or some shit. It kind of looked like that. So then the guy gets up, tries to go to the door. He turns around, nothing's there. So when he tries to leave, he gets yanked back inside. So then we cut back to the guy who's getting dragged across the floor, and there's three other dudes actually around him. One of them leans in, and it looks like Luxie leaning in, but then he leans in, he gets more into view. It's James A. Janice. I think it's pretty sick how he's in this TV show. Hey, welcome to the kill cam. Hey, welcome to the moment where you get robbed. So then all the 3 guys pin him down. One of them snatches the pocket watch, and then James A. Janice just like stabs him to death. But the way he stabs him to death, he looks into his eyes like it's like giving him a boner or some shit. Like him stabbing this guy is gonna make him bust a nut. So then one dude who's like, finding this a bit crazy, he takes a little step back. He needs a little bit of breather. So then he ends up getting impaled by a pitchfork from behind, and two other guys, they see Luxie just standing there, be like, right, you like my new sculpture? This is actually really cool. I spent a lot of time on it. So then they just run out the barn, and one of the bandits are sleeping in a tent, and they dream about the guy that just got killed by a pitchfork. He turns around and smiles at him in a dream. So then the dude wakes up from the horrible nightmare. He gets out of the tent, go take a piss, and while he's pissing, he hears noises around him. So he's just thinking, what the fuck? What is that shit? So then he sees nature's graffiti on the tree, which is basically the same message: take a piss, you'll go and take a piss on you. So then he goes back in the tent, notices that James A. Janice is gone. He left him. He abandoned him. He does not fuck with you, bro. So then he sees someone walking outside the tent, but when the shadow gets to the edge of the tent, he's gone. He's disappeared. So then Luxie appears in the tent. He's like, surprise, I've been in here this whole time. So then he runs out the tent, and he turns around, and he sees someone holding a bed sheet or some shit. He's supposed to be like a ghost on Halloween. So then they pull down the bed sheet, and it's Luxie. They're like, yeah, surprise, how's it going? I'm your bed demon. So as he backs away, Luxie reappears behind the tree. This guy's able to teleport, which is OP. So then the guy starts running, and he runs so hard, he was locked in, his legs were so locked in that when they trip over like some little branch or whatever, he broke his leg. I don't know how the fuck you break your leg from just running and tripping. You must have been running super fast for your bone to go up through your skin. So then in this case, just lying on the ground, and he gets snatched up. So then we cut to James and Janice, who, I keep saying James A. Janice, I could just say Kill Count Man, or just James, just like you, a regular next door neighbor. Hey, what's up, James? James comes back and notices the other guy's stuff, just lying around there, his shoes all over his ties and all. It's like he just got naked and decided to sleep without clothes on. So then James looks up, and he gets drenched in fucking blood just out of nowhere. It's just like, I don't know, the god just decided to, squirt fruit chew all over him. So he gets a little bit pissed. So then Luxie appears behind him, and James has like, I don't know, the force abilities or some shit, because he's sensitive. So he turns around with a stab to the gut, which phases nothing, which doesn't do anything to Luxie. He might as well just like, just like pinched him or some shit. So then James starts running away, and he sees Luxie in like left and right and all, like this guy is already getting inside his head. So then he stops, turns around, sees absolutely nothing there, but then when he turns back around, Luxie grabs him by the neck and raises him up, and he's about to kill him, but then Luxie's smile turns upside down, his frown turns right around, because the way Luxie works is that he goes after people who have regrets, but James didn't really regret killing that guy. It's actually a rush for him. He's like an adrenaline junkie on extreme difficulty. So Luxie just lets him go, and he just walks away scot-free, and Luxie's just a bit pissed. He's like, damn, I couldn't munch on someone today. So then we cut to the rich bitch gold digger of a ma who heard the door closed in the barn, so she goes out to check, or she doesn't go out to check, she goes to the window, and then she sees her dad just waving to her, be like, hey, how's it going? He's waving like he's an animatronic, and she just sort of doesn't really know what to do, so she just waves back. So then, then she hears another noise, and then when she goes to check, she finds her daughter's drawing, and she has a really brilliant drawing of their demon uncle with their family, and some of the family members are crossed out. She's just deciding, yeah, they have to die tonight. So then she hears another noise in the darkness, by the way. So like, there's a kitchen that's all dark, and she just walks right into it. She finds her bag just swinging left and right like a punching bag. It's covered in blood. So then she goes back, check the drawing, and she flips it over. She sees the classic, no, you yourself release, I will come take a piece of your penis or whatever. So then Luxie grabs her feet from underneath the table. She manages to slip out, and he only just got her shoe. He just wanted a fresh new pair of crepes or whatever. So then she gets up, tries to run to her room, but then her necklace just starts getting raised like Darth Vader is trying to strangle her to death, and it just snaps off. To be honest, her necklace looked like a bunch of, I don't know, oversized anal beads around her neck. So then she tries to open the door, but then Luxie's hand is there, so she sprints down the hallway like her life depends on it, goes into her room, closes that shit, finds her dead son, and she's actually seeming pretty sympathetic. She seems pretty sad. She's like, oh, my dear boy, just like caressing her hair, and I was like, oh, I wish you were still alive so I could get you to do the choice and no more Xbox for you. So then she sees a necklace on the son's hand, and then when she touches it, the son's mouth opens, and like blood just starts pouring out of his mouth, like he just had like he just went through a whole jar of jam or some shit. So then she tries to take the necklace off his hands, but the necklace has been like super glued to his skin or whatever. So then Luxie appears behind him on the ceiling like she's Spider-Man, and it cuts off with the mom screaming and the son going back to the barn to check because he's outside looking for dad, and now he has to go back and save mom. So we cut to the daughter who watches her mom collapse with a hole in her chest, because I guess she's used to her mom collapsing the whole time because she might be an alcoholic, who knows, but she had a hole in her chest and the daughter didn't seem to give a shit. So this kind of made me assume or believe, I actually already knew, but it probably make other people assume and believe that the daughter's kind of in on it. She's like Luxie's new adoptive daughter or some shit. So then the son goes back and he hears the barn door open up, so he goes to check that shit because the horses might be, having a seizure or whatever this shit. So he goes into the barn door, he turns around, he notices Teddy, big Teddy on the ground, teddy bear. It's the same teddy bear that his brother used to have before he died, and he brought it with him as like a token of his brother, basically to remember something by his brother. So then he picks up the teddy, he notices something in the ass crack of the teddy, opens that shit up, there's a picture of his family, and he also finds a note inside the classic Luxie note. But then the dead bandit and his dad just appear behind him. He's like, "What you got there, son?" It's like it's like when you're in school, you're playing Crunker in the PC, and you're chatting to the boys beside you, and then teacher just like jump scares behind you like Slenderman. It's like, yeah, that's a lot of work we're doing here. That's how they appeared behind him. So then he just goes home, and then when he gets home, his mom's just acting a little bit strange because she's just standing there like a mannequin, and then she turns around and just walks into the darkness like she has to show her son like his surprise for his birthday or whatever. So he goes into the darkness and go check up on the mother. He sees her sitting at the table, having an imaginary dinner by herself, and her jacket is bloody. And from there we get to see from the POV of the mother, she's just there smiling and saying like, "Yeah, my inside voice told me a really good joke." So he's getting a little bit sus. He backs away without even going up to his mother, which I think is pretty smart. Like, get the fuck out of there. Your mother's acting weird as shit. So when he tries to leave the front door, Luxie just closes down. I was like, "Hey, where are you going, sport? We still have some catching up to do. You still haven't finished your dinner. You have to go clean up your room and all." So he runs away from Luxie down a hallway into a room, closes that door, and he sits at the door as Luxie tries to bang it, trying to break it down. So then he has the teddy bear, and when he looks at the teddy bear, he hallucinates that he sees his brother just standing in a field holding the teddy bear, like the teddy bear is the brother's newborn child or whatever. So then he just gets pissed. He remembers how much he hates his brother. So then doing what he wanted to do to his brother before he died, he rips the teddy bear's head off, and then a hand appears out of the teddy bear and he throws that shit across the room. The hand skulls away underneath the bed like a spider, and then Luxie appears right underneath the bed like P. Diddy or some shit. He's like, "Hey, I've been the man underneath your bed and in your floorboards this whole time." So then when the brother tries to leave the room, he opens the door, tries to get out, but then Luxie pulls him right back in. So then we cut to see what he done to Big Bro, and he made him kneel down and face the wall as if he's going to be sucking someone off through a glory hole. So then that pocket watch that I was on about, that pocket watch strikes 12 o'clock, and she puts the daughter puts it on the ground, or it's just on the ground, and two hands hop out of the pocket watch, and a new Luxie starts, basically form and rise. And this Luxie, it had like blue mittens and shit, and it had like some little top hat on its big bald ass head, like Art the Clown or whatever. And yeah, that's how Luxie ends season 1 and 2. The unfortunate thing though for me especially is I don't think we're ever going to be getting a season 3 of this, which kind of sucks, because I used to be scared shitless of Luxie. He used to actually creep me the fuck out. But then looking back at these, this miniseries that Crypt TV have on YouTube, I think it's actually pretty interesting and cool. And I really wish we'd get a season 3. I still hope we somehow do get a season 3 and that's good. But for now, I guess we're not. But anyways, that was me doing Certified Menace on Luxie. See you later.